Hello, everyone. Hello. As you start joining, just kind of, if you want to put hi, if you want to put where you're joining from in the chat, that would be great. What are we dancing to? It's Happy by Pharrell. You can't hear the music? Anna Maria, what do we do if some people can't hear the music? Oh, you should have a volume maybe at the bottom. Colombia. Oh, she found it. All right, there, we got the dancing going on. We still got people joining, it looks like. We'll get started here in a second. All right, Copenhagen. Jessica, you're in Costa Rica right now? That's not where you were before, right?
Not at all.
Okay. Georgia, Germany. All right. Ontario, Ottawa. Fantastic. We got a wide variety. Oh, UK, I missed that one. Got a bit of Canada here. All right. We're going to get started here in a second. Looks like we still have a couple people joining. So we're got about 21, which is fantastic. All right. I know that everyone's loving the music, but I'm going to go ahead and stop it for now. I think I stopped it. Did I stop it for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Welcome, everyone. And let's do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up if you have been to previous Butter Bootcamp sessions this week. And I already see some familiar faces. And give me a thumbs down if you haven't, and this is your first time. Yes. Many thumbs up. I see some thumbs down. Welcome. Okay. All right. So some people are here just for you, Rachel. Yes. Heart eyes. Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Maria, and I am leading the community project at Butter. Welcome to the Butter Bootcamp. This week, we are focusing on our most favorite features of the product, and we are showing you how you can make the best use of these features. And today's session in particular, we are focusing on this match between Butter and Miro. The session is being recorded before we move on. So if you don't feel comfortable, and feel free to pick a cute avatar and chat with us in the chat and with the emojis. Otherwise, let us see your smiles and your faces throughout the session. I am happy to welcome Rachel, and maybe Jessica, you can help me with some applause there. Super stoked to have Rachel with us today. There we go. I see.
It'd be weird if I clapped for myself, so thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that.
Yes. Show Rachel some love. I see Ben is like also he's here representing. Yes, hi Ben. So Rachel is a workshop facilitator and strategist with a soft spot for creative problem solving. That sounds lovely. She's currently the chief of staff at Moto and get to use her facilitation skills almost every single day. She has over 17 years of experience across design thinking, brand and creative strategy, workshop creation, facilitation, all the good stuff. And Miro is her jam. And we're lucky to have her here with us today. Rachel, thank you so much for accepting our invite. Over to you. Take it away.
All right. So everyone should be seeing the Miro board, but I'm actually going to bring everyone to me again on the board for anyone who joined. So there we go. We see everyone here with me. I know Anna Maria said 17 years experience. I think this was from last year, so I have to update my introduction. And so if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or Polywork, you can kind of see here the links on the little icons there. And I believe Anna Maria also put those in the chat. So I'm going to bring everyone with me to our little warm-up activity. Real quick, bring everyone again. And so what we're going to do, you see your little dots up here, and this is a click, hold, and drag for people who haven't used Miro as much. And I want you to just click, hold, and drag onto the little timeline here. Are you just a little baby learning Miro? Are you starting to stand on your own? You know, kind of, you stand on your own, but your arms might be a little short like a T-Rex. Or are you pretty comfortable, like your favorite pair of slippers? Or are you a Miro ninja? Watch out, you won't see me coming. A lot of people don't see me coming. So you just click, hold, and drag those over to where.
Hold and drag what?
The little dots up here. Let me make sure I'm bringing everyone to your click, hold, and drag your yellow dots.
These dots appear?
Yes. I see we've got some people grabbing the whole thing. Let me bring them back up here. There you go. There you go. Click, hold, and drag. Let's see. We've got some Miro babies. We got some ninjas. We've got some T-Rexes. Looks like we're all over. So it's okay if you're a little bit more of a Miro ninja, because you might learn something new today anyway. You're also going to learn how we integrate with. So it says it's only letting them add comments. People should be able to click and drag. This is open to everyone to edit. Kat, you might be having some technical difficulties there. Anna Maria's, can we help out? Okay. All right. So looks like we've got all around. We are like all over the place here, guys. Oh, got some people. I'm going to teach you how to do this later. Lock everything so we don't move all those things around. See some people. There we go. All right. So fantastic. Now, I know I threw you all into using Miro, even if you aren't Miro aficionados yet. We're going to learn a little bit more about it soon. I see some people getting into it already and some dinosaur pictures. That's fantastic. All right. So, oh, yes. Kat, make sure, I saw yours. Make sure you've got the arrow at the top of your left toolbar, that it's blue and not black. And then you'll be able to interact and edit with the board. Later on, I'm going to be actually sharing my screen with you so that you can actually see my toolbar. But for now, I wanted us to start in the Miro board. So I'm going to go ahead and bring everyone to me. Oops, that is not what I meant to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring everyone to me on our hopes and fears. So what I want everyone to do is think about, apparently I did not lock all the things. What I want us to do here is think about some expectations you had coming into here. What did you hope to learn when we're talking about the Miro Butter integration? And what were you worried about? What are you fearful of? Like, what are you scared of, right? What are you scared of with Miro and Butter? And it's okay. Everyone's scared of something. I am a lot of times. I'm like, oh God, I won't be able to see the board. I won't be able to move around. No one's gonna like me. Right? Like, what are you worried about there? I don't. Let's start looking at some of these as we've got them written. Someone's want to pick up some creative tips using Miro. Well, we're definitely going to cover that today. Possibility of Miro for facilitation and meetings. Fantastic tool for that. There's so many different ways to use Miro. We can talk a little bit about that when we get to the resources at the end. New way of mixing tools. That is also what we're focusing on today. How to use Butter with Miro and this integration and how you use it to kind of keep that momentum and flow in a workshop. Making my Miros look more epic. Well, epic is one of my favorite words, and so we're definitely going to make all of the epic boards. Hopefully you like my board design today. So Vanessa there says, so this is actually Miro, not mural. So I want to make that that distinction for you, Vanessa. And we've got a lot going on the board, I know, and that's actually one of the creative chaos pieces of Miro. And we're going to learn a bit more about how to use it. Right now, we're just kind of getting those ideas down on the Post-it. And the way that you use the Post-its here, I know we had some Miro babies, right? Just double click on the Post-it to be able to type. So if you're having some issues with that as we're writing our hopes and fears. So all you have to do is double click on any of the Post-its and then just start typing. Make sure your arrow on your left-hand toolbar is blue at the top, and you'll be able to interact with the board. Let's hear some things you're worried about. All right. Participants get lost or unsure of how to advance. So I'm not necessarily going to go into how to prep participants for a workshop today, but feel free to reach out to me after, or Anna Maria. That might be a really great future event, how to prep participants for a Miro board. Attendees will be intimidated. Along those same lines, I've got some great tips for how you could kind of prep people for a board. We didn't have a lot of time today, so I just kind of jumped in, but that was the point. I wanted to jump in. I wanted to see what difficulties you were having because I wanted to be able to address those, right? So I kind of did that on purpose today. High learning curve. So yes, it can be one of the things that you want to do is assess the technical ability of your participants. What is their first of all, what's their risk aversion with new technology? What's their technical ability? And then you could kind of think about, Vanessa, yours is making you dizzy. If you look at your very top toolbar and you look next to all the avatars, there's a blue arrow next to a little celebration icon. If you click that, it'll hide everyone's cursor. So you won't be able to see everyone else's cursor as it's going on, and you won't be dizzy. All right. So overwhelming, right? So it can be overwhelming. There's ways to make it not overwhelming. Miro actually released something new right now called Smart Meetings, and you can actually limit the left-hand toolbar to only the tools that you want your participants to see. So there's ways to simplify this for your participants, and we won't be going into all of that today, but I did want to address that. All right. So we've got a lot here, but I want to move on. We're going to address some of these. I might even address some of these in the Butter community afterwards if we don't get to any of these, all of these questions today. All right. So what I'm going to do now is first I'm going to bring you to me on the board here, but then I'm going to go ahead and actually close out of the board. And Anna Maria is going to actually help us by sharing her screen and showing how do you integrate. Just start from the beginning. How do you integrate a Miro board into Butter? And then we're going to learn about how to build those boards. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this Miro board. And what you're going to see now, first of all, you see all our lovely faces. And then what you're going to see is Anna Maria is going to walk through. I'm going to go ahead and get us to the next piece of our agenda to kind of talk about the scenery around us on how to integrate that Miro board. There we go.
All right. So you're going to see me looking at my screen over here because this is where I have my dashboard. So those of you that have been in the past bootcamp sessions and are familiar with Butter already know what this view is. Is my dashboard. So I can see my current meeting or live session here. And I want to prepare an agenda beforehand. So this view is your controls or commands when you're designing your workshop. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my demo room. And in here, this is the room where I can absolutely navigate these tabs in order to give the room the look and feel that I want to, invite any collaborators or co-facilitators to design this thing with me, and then the agenda and the toolbox is where the magic happens. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Miro board to my toolbox. So I'm going to click Add Tool, and here I have several options. We've covered several of them in the past sessions. So I'm heading over to the Miro board, and now this is going to link with my account. And I can simply pick an example here. So I'm going to pick the Butter Bootcamp board. And now you would want to make sure that you're picking this option right here. Anyone can edit, no sign-in required. So you would have to have your boards open so that the participants that are landing into Butter, they can immediately, instantly type and interact with your board. So I'm doing this now, and now I have the Butter Bootcamp. I click Save, and here it pops into my toolbox. So I can add several other tools here. I could add a breakout, and maybe I want to do that so I can show you how to link a Miro board in the breakouts, because you're going to see this in a second. So I'm not going to go too much into details into the breakouts, but basically you're picking in between groups. Participants cannot move between the rooms, and rooms participants can move between the rooms. So I'm going to go for this one here. You can add a name. You can pick how many rooms do you want, the duration of the rooms, tasks, giving people tasks to do, task 1, and so on. And here is where I want to link my Miro board. So I can simply drag and drop this here, and I see my Butter Bootcamp board that I have in my toolbox. So I don't have to relink it. And I can do this, right? And I can add it to any, like all of the rooms. And I can also pick and choose any other tools to add to the room. So I can, for example, replace the Miro with whiteboard, which I call it by my name, and then I click save. So now I have a breakout and I have my Miro board here. Quickly to the agenda. Now I really want to link my tools to an agenda block or an activity. I can come here and I can say, this is my welcome, right? And I'm going to do this for 5 minutes. Participants will see the time. I can pick any color that I like for this block, and I can add a new tool. So I'm going to add my Butter Bootcamp here. I see it on top. It's linked to this block. And if I click done, you already see my 5-minute agenda block, which is the welcome, where I am having my tool. Now I'm going to stop sharing here and take you to this session where we all are and show you really fast how you can see that in session. This.
And feel free to pop any questions you have as Anna Maria is going through this in the chat. And it looks like Julie had a question there we answered about, do you prepare your boards ahead of time? Yes, I find it's much easier to prepare your boards ahead of time here, and I will teach you how to do that next.
All right. So what you're seeing now on your screen is this session. So you can like wave to yourself in, there are, I still have access to my toolbox. So this is the toolbox for today's sessions. As you can tell, many Miro boards, breakouts, and so on. I can launch them from here directly. We also have our agenda, right? So this is what me and Rachel see as facilitators. And if I'm going here and I take you back to the beginning, for example, we had a welcome music and we had the Butter Bootcamp board that Rachel used. So as I move along, if I have my tools added to the blocks, as I move along during the session through my agenda, I can simply launch every tool that I have, whether that's a breakout, a music, a poll, a Miro board. I can simply click start and take everyone back to our board.
Fantastic. All right. I am actually going to share. I'm going to close. I know you took us back to our board, but I'm going to actually share my screen now so you could see my Miro toolbar, because one of the things when you're sharing in Butter is everyone sees their own kind of interaction with the Miro board. And so you're not going to be able to see where the facilitator is unless the facilitator brings you to them. And I'll show you where that is on the toolbar when I go ahead and share my screen now. So, all right. Can everyone see my screen here? Give me a little thumbs up there we go. Awesome. All right, so now you can actually see the toolbar around here. You'll notice that mine actually says new UI. The Miro is actually rolling out a new UI this month. Everyone should have it by the end of this month. And so this is what you're going to start seeing with the new UI. It'll look a little different. Remember I was talking about those smart meetings. This is also in beta right now, so not everyone's going to see it, but when it is fully rolled out, you'll be able to see this. This is for smart meetings. So right now I've left actually all the tools on my toolbar because I want to be able to show you how to use all of those tools. And so when I was talking about the arrow earlier, this is the top arrow. So when you have it unselected, what you're going to see is a little hand guy. And when you have it selected, then you'll be able to interact on the board. Underneath that is a little templates button. I'll talk a little bit more about how to use templates as a starting point when we get to the questions at the end. But you can actually search here the Miroverse. You can search any templates. You can make your own templates and then have those at the top here. Now you see this little show when creating a board. Some people get annoyed when this pops up every single time they create a board. So you can actually uncheck that and it would no longer show up when you're creating a board. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit of the interactive features here. So you'll see these on the board, and we'll share this board as a view only after the session if you want to come back to it. The little lock key here, right? So you notice some people were moving some things around earlier. You want everything that you don't want a user to move, a participant to move, to be locked. And then this little key here, anyone can unlock. You could change that and it'll turn blue, and that's only your owner can unlock. So let's say I had unlocked this yellow thing here. Just to relock it, when I click on the shape, the lock will come up, and all I do is just click that lock closed. You want to make sure all your stuff is locked. So you see I didn't actually lock these lines here because I forgot. So I'll go in there and lock those now. I apparently didn't lock anything on this board, so good on me. I did that on purpose so I could show you how to lock them. So, all right. So the one, thanks. Was that you, Cheska? Okay. All right. So what you can do here is you can actually select a group of things and lock them together. And that's a lot easier than locking all your individual elements. What you want to make sure not to do is lock your Post-its. So if you pre-put some Post-its on here, and you lock your Post-its, no one's going to be able to participate, and then you've basically shot yourself in the foot. So these are some things on the toolbar and some other settings that Anna Maria kind of alluded to on setting your settings in Butter. These are actually setting your settings in Miro. So this is all dependent on what you're going to see based on the type of Miro account that you have. So right now you can see here that you have, you could see these are actually from a consultant account, which is the account I have. So when you hit share and you have the permissions, and I can actually show you that here when I hit share on this board. Can you all see that pop up? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So you'll see that this has, I've got my little agree. Oh, okay. There we go. I can see. So you can actually, if you're on the consultant plan, and I believe business plan has this as well, you can actually set a password to any board that you open up so that it's not just a public link. It's actually a password protected link. That's really good to use if you're using this with clients. Then what you would do is you could choose anything, can edit, can comment, can view. And then you could go to share settings. And what you would do is click on permissions here. And then who can share this board, right? Do you want just team members on your board to be able to share it? Who can copy the board content? So let's say you have designed something and it's licensed to you and you don't want people reusing that content. You can make sure that they can't copy that off your board into another board by saying only board owners and co-owners can copy. Who can start collaboration tools. So right now I have that set to board owners and co-owners, but if you're having a collaborative session, let's say like a product design session or a journey mapping or something, you want them to be able to start collaboration tools because they're working with each other, you can actually change that to all editors. And then this is by default, visitors can't add their names. So I always change it to visitors can add their names. And so when you logged on, you saw people on there with like visitor and guest and stuff like that. This is so you can add in your first name or whatever nickname, whatever you want to call yourself. All right. So that's a little bit about share settings. And one of the other things I want to show just before I get into how we're going to create some things is setting your start view. So you've created a Miro board here. You can go to your top bar here and you see you've got preferences, background grid, board history, set start view. So if you hit set start view, you're going to get this little box, right? So look, that's over here. Like, oh, no. When I want them to start, I actually want them to see my introduction. So I'm going to put the box over here on my introduction, kind of fit it there and be like, okay, done. So now when people join the board for the first time, that's where it's going to take them on the board. So they're not like just some random spot on the board. All right, so that's kind of your toolbar and your toolbox around you. And now we're going to learn how to design some things in Miro. So what's in your pack in Miro? Anna Maria, Cheska, just monitor the chat here if anyone has any questions as we're doing this, and because I don't think I can see the chat as I'm doing this right now. So you can have emojis, icons, all the things. So let me just start to show you some of this. This is your emoji and stickers button here, right? One of the things with the toolbar that you can do is you can actually move these icons around in your toolbar. So you can customize your own toolbar to what you use the most when you're designing a Miro board, right? So you could bring your emoji icons, your icon finder, you could bring those all up to the top of your toolbar. So if you click on the emojis, you've got emojis here. You just search for emojis like you would any other place. You get your stickers here. And so I've got a little box here. After I teach you all of these, we're going to bring you back into the Miro board. You can play around with these a little before we go into our breakout rooms where you're going to design your own Miro boards. And so with emojis, you can just drag them over here. You'll see that's a little smaller than I'd like to. You could resize emojis however you want here. Stickers, so the same thing. If you click over to stickers, you can drag them onto the board and pull them over there. And what else? We've got icons. So I use Icon Finder a lot. So I like icons because they have a transparent background, and this is a really great collection. So I think I use this for my monsters and robots. So even if we monster, oh great, that's lovely. There you go. So we search for monster. I've got some pictures of some monsters here, and you would do the same thing here. Just drag it over. A little. You can also click on them and it'll place it on the board, but I like the drag over part because then I know where it's going and I don't have to be like, oh, where the heck did that go on my board? I don't know where that emoji went when I clicked on it, right? So if you drag it, you'll know exactly where it's going on the board. All right. So we've got emojis here. We've got icon finders. What else want to show? All right, so we've got your sticky notes, right? So we've got, there is a limited number of colors in sticky notes. So if you need something to be a custom color, use a shape instead of a sticky note, right? So you've got a sticky note here. You're like, all right, I don't like any of these colors. They're kind of boring. I want a custom color. So I want to change this to a shape. So now this is a shape. People can still double click and type on it. And now you could add custom colors. You just hit the little plus sign here, any hex code, or just drag your thing around. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling some purple today, maybe. Let's get some purple in there. It's a little unicorn type color, right? And then I want to show you some other tools that aren't necessarily standard on the toolbar, but you can add. So Unsplash is you can search for Unsplash, but it doesn't always show up in your left toolbar. And I'll show you how to get it there in a second here, but you could search for anything on Unsplash. We just talked about unicorns. So I'm going to search for unicorn. Oh, it's like a Lego unicorn. Okay. Sometimes these show up rather big. So let that load there for a second. There we go. And so you've got your unicorn Unsplash. There we go. So you can search for anything there. We've got some great unicorn things. Oh, that one's great too. All right, one of the ones that isn't standard on your toolbar is undraw symbols, right? These are great because you could change the color of them. It's a limited amount of them on here, but I'm going to show you how you could bring on SVGs from the undraw site, which is free. These are all free for commercial use, is the license. So any of these, you could pick the standard reactions, actions, presentations. So let's say you want these little guys with the yellow. Just drag them over there. There you go. And you've got them over here. All right. The other thing you can use, we've talked about shapes. We've talked about text boxes, photos. All right. And I want to show you a little bit here about cards. So I love using cards. We're actually going to change this shape into a card, which is your top left corner here, right? And this is now a card, right? It's still, you could type on it. What I really like to do here is I always like to fill the background of them. So if you clicked on here, you see you could just click fill card background, and it'll just be a lighter color of the color you've chosen to make it. So we're going to type something here. Rousers. There you go. I think one of my coworkers used that the other day. And what's great about cards is you can expand it and write more. So on sticky notes, you can only write a certain amount here. So these, you can expand it. You could say, I'm typing things here, right? Ooh, there we go. You can also, format this a little better. I believe you can bold it. You can do your bullets in there, right? And you can also add tags to this, right? So this is a tag, right? And it helps with search. You could do a lot of different things in here. You could add a due date. You can add an assignee if there's people on your team. All right, so that's a little bit about cards. It looks like someone's got a question there about cards.
Go ahead, Barashi.
Barashi.
Nope, maybe on mute. All right, we'll get that question later. All right, pop in the chat here, and Ariana, Jessica, if you can kind of monitor that. Are there anything that I didn't go over that you want to learn how to use in Miro, or that's on the toolbar here that you're like, how do I do this? How do I bring this in? We talked a little bit about shapes, changing Post-its, but there's a whole bunch of a variety of shapes you can use here when you click on shapes and flowchart shapes. Anything you're really curious about. Let's make this a little interactive. You got anything there in the chat? No one? All right. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to open this back up for you to play a little bit here, and then we'll go into breakout rooms, and I'll tell you what we're going to be doing there. Oh, let's talk a little bit about arrows. So there's lines, arrows, and connectors here. So if you click the little arrows here, you can actually connect shapes or anything really. You can connect cards. You can connect. You can see it'll auto snap, right? And then when you move your items around, and so that's kind of a thin line. You're like, oh, I want this to be a little thicker. You'll click on that. You'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I don't like that, what that arrow looks like. You could click on here on your line beginning and your line end. You'd be like, yeah, I like that arrow better, right? You could play around with how those all look and feel. You could also change the color of a line. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to let you all back into the Miro board. Did we have any questions as I was going through that? Nope. All right. Let's go ahead and do we have another question or the same question maybe? All right. I'm going to go ahead and reopen up.
Melissa has a question.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. I've got my Miro open, and I have a bunch of different apps that I've added, but I can't get them to show up on my toolbar.
Okay.
So
Actually, okay.
I don't. Is that just a product of that? I don't have the updated beta version that you have.
Nope. Let me show you how.
Great, thanks.
You might actually be seeing a different toolbar, but do you have this little arrow down here that says more tools?
Yes, and I can see the other tools when I click on that, but I can't figure out how to make them show up.
Yeah.
Right.
So click on one and hold, and then just drag it to your toolbar.
Oh, great. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Now let's get you back in here. Did we have another question there, Anna Maria? I saw one pop up.
Yeah, we have 3 more.
All right. Well, before I go ahead and share the Miro board, let's get those questions. Who's next?
So Benoit says, I just added an undraw in my tools in Miro. Any other cool recommendations?
Yeah, I can give some recommendations for certain apps. I'll put them on the resource board afterwards, and I can do that after the session. That's actually, most of what I use is already integrated into Miro, but I'll make some suggestions. People, there are outside developers always creating plugins, and I have some really great suggestions from the Miro X community I could pass afterwards.
Thank you, Rachel.
All right.
How
to
can we
add
import
backgrounds.
stickers and backgrounds, yeah.
Oh, I missed it. How import stickers. Okay. So you're not going to be able to show the stickers on the sticker tab when you're importing them, but what you can do is drag and drop SVGs. I actually recommend SVGs over PNGs because they scale better and they don't get pixelated. But you can literally just click and drag onto the board any images, SVGs. That's a way to kind of put it on your own board. There's no way to actually add those to a shared toolbar unless you're on their kind of developer community where you're creating an outside app, which is a possibility, and I can give some information for that as well. How to add backgrounds. So you cannot actually change the color of a canvas in Miro, but I did a little hack. And what I did on my board, I'll go ahead and share that now because I'm going to have you do a little interaction here, and then we're going to get into breakout rooms. And I know we're running a little over here, so I want to make sure we get to those breakout rooms. We might actually skip these play with the shape stuff and go right to the breakout rooms. But what I did on my board, as you're going to see this, if you zoom all the way out, right, all the way, these are infinite canvases, right? So what I did was I just created a huge color block behind my mountain and I locked it, right? So no one's going to really zoom all the way. Yes. Well, that's not going to work with a zoom out. I'd have to share my screen. Actually, I could probably share my screen here. And that'd probably be a better way to do it. All right. All right. So if everyone could see this now, I zoom all the way out and you can see it actually ends here. So Miro is a infinite canvas. So this is the way to kind of get that background, right? So you just basically put a color block. This is basically a blue shape. And then I just locked it in place. Does that answer that? All right. Fantastic. What I'm going to do, I'm going to share the board again here real quick, and then we're going to have you play around. I'm going to summon you on the board, and then we're going to break out into those breakout rooms, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do there. All right. So on this pack board, I'm going to bring everyone to me, and I want you to just play around in these here, right? Grab some stickers, place some stickers. You've got a little theme here I've given you. Your theme is celebration. Add photos, icons, anything that you think represents celebration in that second box there. And then you can play around with sticky notes in that third box, and then play around with shapes and connectors in that fourth box. I'm going to give you a little time to kind of do this, and then we're going to go into our breakout rooms, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do there. Let's see, do we have any timers set up with some music? Can we do like a quick, like 2-minute timer? I forgot to set one up maybe. Have you got that, Anna Maria? You want me? There you go. Whoa. Fantastic. If you have any questions as you're doing this, pop them in the chat. love this. Love everyone kind of going all around creative chaos here with this. See a lot of people playing with the undraw. Get your unsplash photos. Looks like Alan's got a gray screen there. Anna Maria, you were saying there were some, you wouldn't see the Miro board if certain things were happening. Is that right? Within Butter? Oh, refreshing helps. Yes. Okay. Sometimes when there's a lot of people on a Miro board, so the threshold, we don't have a lot of people here. We only have about 25, but there's a threshold there of probably about when you hit about 150 where you might get some lag with everyone on the board. So just something to keep in mind. Well, I love this. I love how everyone was kind of all over the place and testing things out. And what we're going to do next, I'm going to actually bring everyone to me on the board here. And we're going to go into breakout rooms. And so Anna Maria's get us into breakout rooms. And once you get into your breakout room, what you're going to see is you're going to see an example of 2 icebreakers that I put together. And those icebreakers are examples. They're locked, no copy and pasting, because I want you to use your tools. And then what you're going to do is find a blank frame, put your name on the sticky next to it, and then you're going to recreate one of those 2 icebreakers. And whoop, someone popped in. Let's move this so you can see that. All right. All right. So what you're going to do is recreate one of those 2 icebreakers. And there's some hints and tips on there. Use your own color palette. Use your own icons. Try to see if you can recreate those. If you need help in your rooms, Anna Maria, you might need to talk them through kind of how to use I think it's in the bottom right. Is that correct? Where you could click how to ask for help. And one of us will pop in there and help you out. Have you used the breakout option, Miro? Link to a part of the board. That's actually part of the Smart Meetings beta, the breakout. I believe there's a piece of that in the Smart Meetings. I have not used that yet. Once I do, though, I will post in the Butter community about my experience with it.
Thanks.
All right. So Anna Maria, you want to go ahead and break us out into breakouts?
Yeah, so we're going to have 10 minutes for this. We are working in breakouts of 3 or 4, and each breakout will have a separate Miro board, but with the same look and feel. But just so you know, you're going to be in one Miro board, so you can actually move around and click and play with it. Okay, I'm starting the breakout, and we'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
Hello. Welcome back. I think everyone's coming back, right? There we go. Welcome back. I know I threw you into a lot of things without a lot of instruction, but that was kind of what I wanted to do. So you could play around, right? We only have an hour today. And so in the future, we'll make sure there's going to be, follow on where we can go deeper into certain things. This was really just kind of an overview. I'm annoyed I can't do things. Well, I have a lot of experience. You'll get there. So don't worry about that. There's a lot of, I also have a design background. So, it's about flow on the board, not always the prettiness of the board. All right. Fantastic. So I want to do a little, we're almost at the end here. So what I want to do is kind of have an open question, but at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and share the Miro board so we can have our little checkout and see if you've actually, moved the needle a little on that continuum. Are you more T-Rex and Ninja wise than baby? So let's go ahead and get you back on here. There we go. And I'm going to bring everyone to me on the checkout. All right. So we've got our little checkout here. Everyone can see that with the dots again. And I'm going to go ahead and have you do the same thing we did in the beginning. Click and drag. And where are you now on the continuum? And as we're doing this, feel free to either type in questions, hit the I have a question button, and we can kind of answer questions as we go. I could stay a little bit over here and answer some of the questions. And then if you want to share on LinkedIn or anything you learn, feel free to tag Butter, tag me. The hashtag is Butter Bootcamp. We'd love to hear what you learned. Useful as a language of Miro with an audience. I'm going to bring you to me. Yeah, that's a great thing when you're kind of trying to direct people around that. So think of Miro as an experience, right? What is the user experience for your participants? You got to talk to them conversationally. You got to tell them what they're looking at on the board, what they're going to see, right? And what's their experience, right? Let's see. All right. What would be the biggest advantage, disadvantage over using a combination of Miro and Zoom? So I use both Zoom and Butter, depending on the type of client I'm working with. However, I have never been able to get the Zoom Miro integration to work the way I like. Right. So the Butter Miro integration is, pardon my pun, super smooth. Right. And I have never had any issues with it. The thing with Zoom is everyone has to be on an updated version. They all have to be on the same version. If there's updates to it, it's very hard to get it to work the way that I like. But if I'm doing a session where I'm sharing the Miro board with a password and everyone's on their own Miro board, I can use it. But then the issue is they have to have it open in another window. If they don't have two screens, it gets really wonky for them. They can't see the people at the same time. So that's why I like the integration in Butter. What are the differences between Miro and Miro? Well, I'm not going to get in a boxing match between the two. I've actually written my love affair with Miro article, and I can share that article with you on the reasons I love Miro in particular. And actually, let me see if I can grab that and put that in the chat. Wow, lots of questions. Let's see. Can we make clients duplicate a Miro board on their own boards and then delete from your account? Are you talking about kind of sharing an actual board with them? So if you're in two separate accounts, they can't use the duplicate feature per se, unless you allow that in the share settings, and they have to have a certain type of account and you do. But what you can do is download it as a board backup, which is an RTB file. And that's the little kind of arrow pointing up you're probably not going to see it on the board that I shared because you're not an owner, but any board that you create, you're going to have a little export button. I can do a little screenshot of it up here so you could see the icon I'm talking about. So it's this little icon that looks like an arrow pointing up, and that's an export, and you just do export board backup, and that'll give you a .rtb file. You could send that file to anyone and they can upload it to their own Miro. You can also transfer a board to another account, but if you're trying to do a one-to-many, that gets very complicated, and a backup board is a little easier in that case. Yes, the free version only allows 3 active boards. But the pro or the paid versions, well worth it. Yes, Miro as a consultant, that is a level of pricing. It doesn't usually show up in their main tiers. If you just scroll a little bit further down on their pricing page, you should be able to see it unless they've changed their pricing page. It looks like we've got a question from Pareshi. Did you give her the mic? There you go. Go ahead, go for it.
So the Miro means I read the starting sessions on mobile. So I can't use the Miro on mobile. I think it can be just used in laptop or desktops.
You can use it on iPad. There is an iPad application for Miro. It's a little different experience on mobile. I would recommend that you tell your participants to join via desktop, just that's going to give them the best experience. And especially if you're sharing it through Butter, because Butter has a really great desktop experience, although I know they are working on some mobile experiences as well, but it might be a little difficult to participate in Miro on mobile there.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a setting expectation things with your participants before you pop in there. Be like, join from your own laptop. Make sure you're not all in the same conference room, and make sure you're on a desktop or laptop. Go ahead?
There's one more question from Tony in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
When you're using Miro through Butter as facilitator, are you using your own login rather than the anonymous login?
As a facilitator, I'm logging into my Miro account when I am adding the boards, and then it shows me in my Miro account when I'm interacting. So you'll see my avatar from my Miro account and everything. Does that answer your question?
Perfectly.
Yes, great. Did I miss any questions here? No. Okay. I know we went super duper fast. We can have some follow-up. I'll probably start a thread in the Butter community on this with any follow-up. If you're not part of the Butter community, I'm going to bring you over here to the resources board for a second before we pop off. Bring everyone to me. So you'll see this resources board, and we'll follow up with a view only of this board so you can have it afterwards. Thank you, Ben. Ben also popped it in the chat there. Or you can click the Join the Butter community here. We've also kind of got some articles here. If you want to click on some of these, open them in your own browsers before we close out this board, but Anna Maria will follow up with a link to this board as well. So you could come back, look at these resources, look at what we did, look at any of those screenshots. And I do know that we are recording these sessions as well. So I know it was a lot of information all at once, but I hope that you got something out of it.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for hosting us. Thank you so much for all the tips and the tricks. And those of you who have been in the past bootcamp sessions, you know what happens now. Enabling the soundboard, go to the react button and show Rachel how much you've loved her session. Show her like with sounds, with emojis, with any single.
Does everyone know how to use the soundboard? Maybe we should tell everyone where to find that.
They are finding it in the React button and then the soundboard, and you're going to see it there, and you can click through it now.
Fantastic!
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the tips. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Tomorrow is the last bootcamp day. I hope to see you all there. It was a pleasure, as always.